feels like. Jeez. First, I want to just thank this community and for the students that came out. It's difficult on all of us when you go through a stretch like we've been in. When you feel like you should be closing out games and you're not doing it. These guys, to their credit, they've hung in there with us. We've made some adjustments the last week or so, week to 10 days, that are starting to pay off for us because we continue to tweak things and try and figure out things that will help them. And to their credit, they've responded. They did a good job. I think it's the first time all year in conference play that we've held a team under 70 points and held a team under 40% shooting from the field. And I thought our defense made the difference in the game. We were outstanding. On a night where we did not shoot the ball well, did not shoot free throws well, but our defense was really, really good. And I've said this often that we've not made a lot of tough plays. Well, tonight in this game, we made multiple tough plays per possession at times. And a great example is that last one where we had to stop them 3 or 4 times before we dug out the rebound, and everybody was just alert and involved. Normally, we've made one tough play and then we've broken down. And the experienced team are making 2 and 3 per possession and they break us down. And maybe this is a good sign for this team to just hang in there. And I'm happy, really happy for them because they've been through a lot. It's hard for young people to go through that type of adversity and still hang in there and fight through it. And to their credit, they've done that.
There was a lot of fouls called in the last 10 minutes of the game. How do you think that changed the pace of the game, and how did you feel the team responded?
You know, I think this game was kind of a microcosm of our season, where there was just adversity through the whole game. We had some great looks, and the ball wasn't going in. Robert Franks, great looks, missing free throws. We're just out of whack offensively, which is very rare for us, and yet we hung in there defensively. Good officiated game. The fouls were the fouls. They were there. They made the game kind of herky-jerky a little bit, but you didn't lose your composure. You toughen up at crunch time. You closed out a game, and you had tremendous play from your point guard. Your point guard leadership on the floor is outstanding at both ends of the floor. So even with the fouls and the disruptions of the game, it was kind of like the season, the same adversity that we've gone through. And this team, they weathered all of that and closed out the game and still got it done. And that's the most important thing.
I noticed you played Cooper a lot this game compared to what he has throughout the season. Do you feel like he changed? He gave a different dynamic? Is the reason why you started?
He gets better every trip down the floor. And the big thing with Coop is just toughness and listening. I probably told him between yesterday, halftime, until they fouled out, I think I counted 18 times I told him to front the post, and he continued to play behind. It's hard to do against an active big guy to be able to guard that guy. So there are things like that. When he's able to listen, understand, comprehend, and do, he's only going to get better. So I'm happy for him because he's getting better again. Every trip down the floor, he gets better. The more experience, the better he gets. He opened up the game in the floor. And he's one of those guys that can play above the rim, rebound above the rim, dunk above the rim. I'm real proud of him because he hasn't got a lot of minutes. And he's hung in there, and to his credit, stayed positive. And he's a great example that if you do stay positive, and I always say with players, again, come at your own pace as long as you come. And here he comes. Here he comes. He could be a really good factor for us coming down the stretch.
It's kind of slow offensive night by Robo standards, but he comes up with a big defensive play. What does that say about his maturity and kind of fighting in there and helping you guys win at the end?
Well, not only Robo, Carter was an 0 for in 29 minutes. I don't think we'll ever see that again. And he had just outstanding looks. Both of those guys had great looks, and I don't think we'll see that again. I hope we don't. So again, to their credit, they found another way to win outside of the three-point shot, which is another very important aspect of the game. And that way to win was a grinded-out game, relying on your defense, like having point guard leadership to close out the game, and then Robo makes the big steal, gets the big rebound. We did a lot of things down the stretch that revolved around toughness that I've told you guys on several nights that we've been missing with this team, and they're starting to come a little bit in that area, which is a good thing.
Yeah, can you use this as a springboard now that you kind of know how it feels like and know how to win a game like this, move forward and play a few more like that?
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping that, we've tweaked some things in some areas to get ourselves geared up for closing out the year and heading towards Pac-12 tournament play. And the good thing about this game is the results as to what we tweaked are showing now. And that's a good thing that they can buy into and hang on to and grow from. And I'm hoping with a game-by-game grind for us as we head towards Pac-12 tournament play, we can just continue to get better and continue to make those adjustments, work on them, and get better in those areas that we've been working on.
Coach, a rough night shooting from downtown tonight. You mentioned struggles by Carter and amongst others. How do you think your team responded to finding offense in other areas?
I thought the biggest thing was putting the ball in Malachi's hand and attacking the basket. And he gave us an opportunity. Drake gave us a couple layups. Malachi gave us some layups, getting into the lane. But more importantly, our defense got us in transition, and it freed us up because we were stagnant a little bit offensively in the half court, not being able to knock down shots. But when we got into transition, they lost us on defense, and it gave us a chance to get a couple of clean looks. And I thought that made their Robo came down and pulled it in transition. Deontay Daniels came down. We got a rebound, kicked it out to him in transition. He hits the three. It got our rhythm back a little bit coming down the stretch. So again, it comes back to when the ball was not going in, you can always come down the other end of the floor and play a good defensive game, make layups, make free throws to kind of stay in the game. And that was a great example of that tonight.
Dallas Walton finishes with 16 points, 8 of those coming from the free throw line. What was kind of giving you guys a little bit of difficulty defending the ball?
Playing behind him in the block. He's an active big that he can get a body on you. He got a great jump hook, and we wanted to front him. And then we went to where we were switching all over the floor, and he would have a little guy on him inside at times too. But, you know, for that amount of points from what we did, I'm happy with that. The bigger thing is the job we did on King. I mean, he ends up, I think, with 9 points, 11 rebounds, but he's the guy that went for 30 in this game. And I thought we did a really good job on him with our defense out front.
I took the words out of my mouth there, Coach. The defense on King in Colorado, it seemed like the Colorado guards bullied your guys. Was that something you said to them before the game? You need to play tougher against them?
Colorado, UCLA, Arizona, Washington. We've gotten bullied in a lot of these games by guards. Guards have been having career nights. And again, we've made some adjustments, and we've played a multitude of defenses tonight, 3 different defenses tonight that I think really helped us. It gives us a little bit more confidence that we can get aggressive in some areas. So it wasn't so much talking about the bullying as we just talk about, again, toughness. We felt like we played Oregon extremely tough. We went got to all the loose balls first. We were really tough against their guards driving, and they were just better. And that crowd gave them a lot of energy to play with, and we wanted to carry that toughness over to this game. And I thought they did a good job of doing that.
Lately, Deontay Daniels has done a great job at creating for his teammates, and he kind of had a great all-around game. He was matched up with King tonight, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, hit the big 3 leg. What did you see from Deontay tonight?
You know, again, for his body size and having to play a guy as physical as King and some of the bigger guards, Tinker for Oregon State, I mean, he's had to match up with some big guards in this conference. And he does a good job of neutralizing them because he is very, very, very composed, and he's very competitive. And he doesn't have a lot of breakdowns on the floor. If you beat him, you're literally going to beat him. He's not going to beat himself in his defensive assignment and things like that. So the biggest thing I can say about Deontay, is the fact that he's just been so consistent. He's been the guy that we know exactly what we're going to get out of him game in, game out. Okay?
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Ernie.
Thank you.